YouTubers. This is Cone Grex's Prime coming at you with a new style of video. We're going to be doing sort of like a podcast style of video. It's going to be called The Prime Directive. And what is the Prime Directive? We're going to be doing kind of like a Q&A between myself and two other content creators that play State of Decay. And of course, we all know that the new State of Decay trailer came out, and this is why this is going to come about this way. So I want to introduce these two content creators, which you have seen before on my channel. One of them goes by the name of Red Kuga 45, and the other is Bunndee Gamez. So, Red, you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi. Hi, everybody. That's it. Oh, that's it.
Bunndee, you want to say what's up?
It's early.
I know for you it is, Red.
Yeah.
Hey guys, he calls me Bunndee D Games, but it's Bunndee Games.
Bunny, my bad. I apologize.
He's always joking like that with my name,
I do.
but
There's
it's
a
cool.
meaning behind it. Yeah, it's a meaning behind it. So we're gonna be talking about this trailer, guys, and what was dropped on our laps today. For me, for Red was yesterday.
It was. It was.
So for me it was today. For Bundy was the same thing today for us. So a few hours ago this was dropped, and we wanna talk about the trailer, but we also want to have a kind of an open discussion and forum with some questions. And the main purpose of this video is to um, get the community involved. We want to kind of like an open discussion on what we saw in the trailer and what we think the direction that State of Decay 3 is going to take, what's going to be molded to. So some of this is going to be theory, some of this will be opinions, and last but not least, what the final goal of this video is for us as a community to maybe channel some ideas to the game devs of State of Decay. So without
Sounds good.
further ado, are you guys ready for the first question? And who wants to be the first one to take it? That's the next question.
I don't mind.
You don't
I'm
mind,
Cheers,
Red?
keen.
Mr. Host.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. So we're gonna go with the Miss Red Kuga. The question that I'm gonna ask is, what are your thoughts of that whole trailer? Like, what did you think about it when you first saw it?
I was just shocked because, to be truthfully honest, I didn't expect it. I kind of expected it, but didn't expect it because you were talking about it, about this could be a beta working its way towards the new one. And so, obviously, that sits in the back of your mind. But the minute I see it, I was like, yeah, this is what we need. Um, and I mean, the trailer itself, on a whole, is a good trailer. It doesn't give away too much, doesn't tell too much, but gives you a lot of questions. So I enjoyed it. You know, the fact that there was the weather aspect. Um, the animals, I kind of thought stuff like that was going to come in. But the weather side of things, because obviously they said they needed um, better servers, was it? They said better servers in order to give us weather. They've put that all together and they've looked at what people actually want. So yeah,
Well,
I like the
we're
trailer.
well, we're hoping that they're giving us weather. I don't know what that trailer means at the end of the day, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Bundy, what were your thoughts when you first saw the trailer? You're
Oh,
muted
I'm
if you're.
sorry. I'm sorry, I was muted. Sorry. Um,
Nice.
I don't usually mute myself, so, but yeah, I muted myself that time.
Okay, that's cool.
Um, yeah, I actually expected there to be a State of Decay 3 showing because if we would have had a E3 this year, I expected them to show it because it's like they always have a presence at the Microsoft shows, and like last year they did the Heartland, so I fully expected it. Now when the trailer actually started, I wasn't sure that that was State of Decay 3. I wasn't sure until I saw the zombified deer. That's when I knew that it was State of Decay 3.
You know what's crazy, Bundy? Did you say that?
Hmm.
I know it was State of Decay 3 from when it opened because of the lady, the chick. She looks just like that one chick from Heartland. What Green? What was her name? The lady that's with Santos, or that you get later if you're playing as not Larice but
Oh
the
yeah,
other.
yeah.
What's her
I thought of
name?
that too, but
She looks
then
just like her, and I was like, man, is that old girl? What are they
when I
doing? I thought it
saw
was
the
like a
snow
yeah,
and the the just the backgrounds out in the mountains, and I was like, it was giving me a Tomb Raider vibe, and I was like, what is this? But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely a Tomb Raider vibe. But
It was
But it also would it
how
sort
can
of look
hold on a
like
minute? How can you turn around and say that it didn't look like it's like State of Decay 3 because it said that right at the beginning that it was State of
no,
Decay 3.
no, it
no,
didn't.
that was at the end.
Did
It
it
was
not?
At
at
the
the
end, it was
very end.
at the very end they hit you with that. Yeah, as soon as you see the deer and she puts them on the scope, then it comes out State of Decay 3. But they
I
don't
think
tell
she
you
she might be
Oh,
infected
okay.
who.
in a
Really?
way. With that screen, it's something about that screen.
No, man, I think she just screamed, just to scare away the wolf. But I don't think she's affected. But
Hmm.
the reason why I think that we're gonna get into that later. Let's just move on to the next. Let's we're gonna give away the whole shebang right now.
Yeah, we're
Well,
gonna go.
oh,
Yeah.
Bundy, hold on to that thought, my dude. Please, just hold on to it,
Okay.
okay?
All
All
right.
right. So let's go with what point of the trailer surprised you? Was it like the beginning, the middle, or the end? So we'll start with Red on this one.
On the beginning,
It
the
surprised you.
the first thing that I noticed was the snow. Um,
Okay.
because I just love snow. I've got a thing about snow. And even in my games, when it's come to playing Tomb Raider and things like that, whenever I get to the snow bit, that's the bit I always enjoy more. So that really surprised me. I was like, oh, yeah, they're you know, it could even be abroad, yeah. So it might not even be in the US. It could be anywhere. It could be Norway. It could be Scotland. It could be up in Canada.
That's what I
So
think it is, man.
yeah,
Canada,
so it's
Alaska,
yeah, but
Anchorage.
it's
Yeah.
it's giving you um to me it just surprised me because they'd always been constantly going on, like I said earlier, about the fact that they didn't have the engines in order to be able to put that on.
Oh,
Um
I'm not gonna get into that right now, Red, because
no, I know, but
I'm
yeah, I know,
I'm gonna leave that subject alone. I'm just not gonna say
yeah,
nothing because the Unreal
but I
Engine
mean,
that they're running can handle it. They just
yeah,
lack
they
the
just didn't
ability
want
to
to.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's a whole different
um
animal.
But yeah, that was the first thing that surprised me. Obviously, right at the very end, the deer was eating the wolf.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what's that telling us?
Well, it
Gives you a
tells
load of
you
questions.
the prey is now the hunters, and the hunters are the prey. That's what they're trying to mimic. That's the
It's
whole
a
mem.
free for all.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
it's
all.
telling us. It's a free for all. There's no one's going to be the stronger because once they've got the plague,
Hmm.
it's game on for all of them.
Bundy, what was your surprise moment of the video, of the trailer? I should say. I'm
The
sorry.
zombie deer.
Zombie deer cut
Yeah, I
you off
was like,
guard.
they're gone there. I was like, they're actually gone there. They're doing zombified animals. So
Well,
that was a surprise for me.
I'm
Now
gonna get.
to piggyback on what you all just said about it's like that they're using double meanings in a sense, because just like with her scaring the wolf away, the wolf was now the prey instead of the wolf preying on her, and then the wolf became the prey of the deer. So it's like on both fronts they're doing it.
Yeah, There's definitely there's a lot to compartmentalize in this trailer. It's kind of crazy how they did it. I thought it was a well-made trailer. Um, the part that surprised me the most was the look in her face when she saw the deer. Did you guys pay attention? She scoped it in, and she was
Yeah,
kind
like
of
that was
thrown
the
back
first time she
like
saw it.
she's
Like
never
she saw
seen
a
that before.
zombified animal.
That's the
Exactly.
part that made me wonder. It gave me more questions because if like we're all used to seeing Zeds, right? We'll see them, either blood plague Zeds or they're juggernauts, whatever. We're used to seeing them. So when we see them, when we scope them in, it's just another zombie for us. But that first time you see, let's say, a liquor in Resident Evil, or the first time that you see your first Pharaoh for the very first time instead of Decay, that's the same face that you're gonna put. You're gonna have that shock in you, that shock factor. So,
Yeah, we're probably getting a bear too.
well, that's probably a
Yeah,
given.
bear.
That's probably a given. But we're
Yeah.
we're we're just
Yeah, you
speculating.
can't go to Canada and not get a grizzly bear.
Well, they got cats, they got
Red
bears, they
flag.
got they got all kinds of stuff. So I would imagine that it'll get pretty crazy. So I got some more questions for you guys. So you guys ready
Okay.
for the next question?
Yeah,
And
I
all these
am.
questions I'm gonna put in the description of this video, guys. So like if you guys want to leave a comment about all these answers that we're giving and our speculations, you can follow the questions on the descriptions below. So I'm gonna move on to the next question, and it's gonna be, what do you want to see in State of Decay 3? So I'm gonna start with Red Kuga on this one because
Okay.
you're a
What do I want to see in
lady.
this OD3? Yay. Um. Right. Better maps, better graphics. That's the main two for me. Obviously, we know we're going to get different weapons, and hopefully they're going to ramp them up. But I'd like to see different vehicles. The vehicles that we've got at the moment, I know they're bringing them out, but to me they're kind of like um, bringing out different vehicles, but they're actually the same as something they've had before.
So,
So
so, so what you want to
if they're
see,
going to
like
go with a different
helicopters and
terrain, yeah,
okay.
just maybe even motorbikes. You
You know,
know,
I would rather see like four wheelers and bikes, dirt bikes, than helicopters and anything else.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to that, I didn't see a single sign that we're gonna get vehicles in this trailer. You so just hold on to that for a second, okay? It's gonna be
Mm,
a mine F later, I promise you.
I
Um,
no, I don't think you can take anything from that trailer
no,
because she was in the
but
middle
if
of
you watch
nowhere.
exactly, there was no roads, there was no paths, there was nothing. So if we're going based off the trailer alone, I don't think we're gonna have vehicles in this red. Like that's gonna go out the window. So if that's one of the things you want to see, I think it's gonna break your heart because I think I know what direction
Oh
they're going with this.
no,
Yeah, but
lots of walking.
we may do a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
I mean,
walking.
can you imagine how bored people are going to get if you're going walking in the snow for thousands of miles
Well, I don't
and
think
not
that's gonna
getting
be that
anywhere
big,
quick?
but this is
I'm
gonna
wondering.
lead to another question. But I want to get Bundy's idea on this. What would
I don't know if they're gonna go that far, in my opinion, to go that drastic of a change from one and two. I mean, I could be wrong on that. Because the way they talk about their vision of what State of Decay is, um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they would go that drastic to make it like a lone survivor in the wilderness type survival game. I don't know if they're going back to the original vision of the MMO zombie survival. I don't know that. But the thing that I really want to see, and it looks like we may get that, is a real AAA State of Decay. With all the backing from Microsoft and them to get some experienced developers in there to help them out with that engine. so that they can, get a real nice looking AAA game.
Do you know what engine Breakpoint uses?
I'm not sure, no.
I'm pretty darn sure that Breakpoint uses the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, most games do use Unreal
And
because
if you
it's
look
the
at the weather
easiest to
effects,
to
yeah,
yeah, it's the
and you see the
easiest
weather
engine.
effects, and they have mountains there, they have snow. Remember they had thunder, and we were running that one game on Breakpoint, and I couldn't see nothing because the wind was blowing and it was
Right.
dark, and so it can be done. I'm just saying they probably don't have
Oh yeah,
the
they
the
could.
programming to do
They
it.
should. They should by now.
I
I
think
mean,
they
if they
will.
didn't have it,
They
yeah,
will.
based
They
on that
will.
trailer,
They will.
because you can see the difference in the
Mhm.
the graphic fidelity in that
Mhm.
trailer as opposed to State of Decay 2.
The original State of Decay
Even
2
with
before.
the Juggernaut edition, you can
Yeah,
see.
yeah. No,
So
there's definitely
they
a
got
difference.
some people helping them out. I mean, and you
They
saw
have to.
all the new developers that Microsoft have under their umbrella now, so
Mhm.
they should be getting some help.
Oh, I'm sure they are,
Oh,
but
definitely.
I think I mean when looking at that trailer, I am real skeptical that we're gonna even have vehicles, guys. I'm gonna be that's just me being honest with you guys. I think what they're trying to do is go into that soul survivor type thing, kind of like DayZ. Now, do I agree with it or not? That's a subject for another video.
Yeah. The thing is,
But
if they're gonna do multiplayer, you
they
know,
are.
I
You're
wouldn't
gonna.
like to see it to be MMO. I really wouldn't. But obviously, one of the things I'd like to see is that you can have more than 3 people come into your game,
Hmm.
but no more than about 5 or 6. You know.
You know what would be awesome? This is just me kind of brainstorming. What would be awesome that instead of us having disconnected communities, because that's why I look at State of Decay 2. I look at it as the most disconnected, connected communities you can have, because none of those characters that you have in your community have meaning because they don't have substance. You know what I mean? They don't have
Yeah,
like a storyline. They don't have something that you can get behind and fall in love with
that's
that
right.
character. So
Yeah,
none of those characters have that. So what they're doing now is just letting you play that one character and let you define that character. Have like I defined the Blood Queen, right? Like everybody knows who Blood Reina is. Long may she reign, because I kind of like built that up over so many videos, right, of
yeah,
playing State of Decay. So I think that's what they're going for. I seriously think that's what they're going for. And in your community, you'll build it with people. Like let's say me, you,
yeah,
and Bunndee. We all play State of Decay together, and we would help each other's community out. Even if we're offline, we're still log into the same game. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then we may log in together and play, or you may log in when I'm not there, and you'll do something like cook food or something. You know what I mean? And I
Man, you
think
really
that
gone far with that. I don't know if they're gonna go that far.
I'm
You
just
know?
saying that's what it feels
mm,
to me, because if you take away the base building part of this game, and you take away, because a lot of people complain about the base building, right? That's the number one complaint on all the forums. I want to be able to build my base my way. I want to put my walls out
Right.
like Minecraft.
yeah,
I want to set my traps. I want to do. If they're listening to people, excuse me, then that's what I think they're gonna go for, because she just had a tent, bro, in a fire.
Hmm.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
I mean, they could be like incorporating a real good storyline where you have a character, or whether it be that character or not, to get. I mean, the fact that she hadn't seen a zombie deer before or a zombified animal, um, she may just be coming into that experience. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
So, and then that may be how the character or characters get incorporated
Bundy,
into
you're
the game.
touching up on my next question, bro. Come on,
Okay.
man.
Well,
you're getting
Yeah.
I guess good
you're
minds think
walking on that
alike.
fine line of my next question, man. You're killing me, man. You walking that
There
fine,
is
because I know.
another thing. Hang on. There is another thing that
Mm-hmm.
basically that could be showing us in the fact that it could actually have a separate campaign mode,
It could. You're right.
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm thinking. That
It could.
yeah, a
they
separate
keep certain
campaign
things
mode.
separate.
Yeah,
That
Like
would be
just like
awesome.
for instance, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the two videos that I put up. the wish list about PvP. To me, keeping the same core game, but then have like an extra mode where people can go and do that
Mhm.
PvP stuff. So that way you keep the people who like the core State of Decay, you
Yeah.
keep them happy, and then you get the PvP people happy at the same time.
Yeah.
That and it would work, in my opinion. It could work like that
It could
because
if
that's one of the trends that I see in those type games. That game Vigor does it. And that other
Mm.
game, I can't think of what it's called. It's on PC. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But
DayZ
it's kind of that. No, no. It's like I wish I could remember it. It's like more military base, but you go into a
Arma
map. No,
Arma
you go
3.
into a map with your gear, and then if you get killed, you lose your gear.
Oh, something. Oh, it's a Russian game.
Yeah,
Escape from
exactly.
Tarkov. Escape from
Yes,
Tarkov.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the
yeah,
same
Yeah.
type of
Tarkov.
game like
yeah,
that. You go in that map and then you deal with your PvP people. And
yeah.
then when you come out with whatever gear
With
that you
loot,
got.
yeah, with loot, and you
Yeah,
sell it. Yeah,
so
yeah. It could be something
I
like that too. But I honestly
Yeah.
think that we're gonna touch up on my next question because we're dangerously close to what I want to ask next. So I want to just ask the question that way we can just get it out the way and everybody can understand why I'm kind of like trying to stay away from this subject as much as I'm doing. So looking at the trailer, what time frame do you think this is? This is before State of Decay 1 or after State of Decay 2?
I think it's after State of Decay 2
Okay. Why do you think that?
because of the wildlife, zombified wildlife being incorporated.
Okay.
That wasn't a presence in the two previous games, so I would think it's mutated some, and now it's affecting the animals.
Okay. Oh, all right. We're cool with that. Red, what do you think time frame wise this is? Before or after, basically?
I think it's after. Yeah. But it could be before. Because if you think about it, by the time while we're in SOD2, we've got no animals. So is there a reason there's no animals? Is it because it got to the animals first
That's a good point.
and then got transferred to us? And obviously, we've killed a lot of the animals in order to feed, as well as the fact that, you know, the first thing they do, because, they eat people or transfer the plague, they'll kill off all the animals first. So it could be before, but I'd like to think that it was after.
You know what's crazy? If you go into uh like the people that deal with viruses, you
Hmm.
know how difficult it is to have something to cross species from, let's say, a different type of species of animal to, like, let's say a dog. It's a lot easier for us to get something from a dog or, let's say, a pig than it is from, like, let's say an elephant. You know what I mean? So or some kind of whale or something. Because we start talking about viruses, it gets really tricky. So something they can cross between cross species to me is
Yeah.
is ridiculous. But here's the flip flop of everything. This is why I think it's right either right before State of Decay 1 or right when State of Decay 1 kicks off. And the reason we didn't see the animals in those games, it has nothing to do with us not seeing them. They were there. The problem was that the developers of the game couldn't make it happen. so that's so this is kind of like, I think, a reboot, right? I'm not knocking the developers of
Yeah.
State of Decay, but I think it's a reboot. And the only reason I think that is because if you look at her clothing looks pristine. Her
Yes,
jacket
there was even
is
like the
not torn.
label that I tried to read
Yeah,
on her jacket.
like mossy oak. It looked almost like a mossy oak
Mm-hmm.
like
Now,
label. That
this is the thing too, like going off of what you and Red said. What if they finally giving us not necessarily a reboot, but a beginning, how it
yes,
all happened, how it got started.
that would be awesome. I'm
So
I'm
that
hoping that's
could
what they
be
do.
what we've been begging for, answers to how it got
Hmm.
started. This could be it.
Exactly. I hope it is. That look,
Yeah.
but Bundy, you hit the nail on the head. This is what I'm hoping it is, but I only think it's the beginning of everything because her boots are not worn, not stained,
Mm-hmm.
not broken. Her clothing is pristine. There's no patches. There's no blood stains. There's nothing. There's no rips. Nothing. No wearing. No tearing. No nothing. She's wearing like what a modern day hunter would go out, to go hunt for, let's say, some big game. You know what I mean? That's what she's wearing.
Right.
And then if you look at her backpack, this is when I start to see, like, being what I did in the past. I look at her gear and I look at her backpack. The first thing I notice, she doesn't have a radio. She doesn't have
Right.
flares. She doesn't have any kind of like emergency equipment. She has a water bottle, right? And she has a backpack that's in pretty good shape, and she has some a pristine crossbow.
Right.
You look at that thing, it's
Mm.
pristine, right? It's
The
not
only
worn.
thing I question is if she's an ordinary hunter just going out there hunting deer with a crossbow because of that scream. It's that scream that's you know the way she screamed at that wolf is
Yeah,
like
but that was an angry
mm,
scream. That weren't a scared scream. That was an angry scream.
Bundy, we're not all gifted with a sexy voice, bro. So like some people
Yeah.
screaming, it sounds ugly. All right. When you scream, you might sound like something sexy. If I scream, I sound like a mad dog, and Red might sound like, well, something else. So I think her scream sounded the way it sounded because of the echo and the reverberations of where she was in the valley. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've been out like in the mountainside and actually yelled. It sounds really weird. Now, if she was aware that zombies were in the area or were in the imminent area, you would not do that because you would call all of them to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or to the point of origin, because they can pinpoint the reverberation wherever the echo starts. That's where they go. They kind of have like echolocation. So it wouldn't be smart for somebody to yell out such a ginormous scream if she was aware there were zombies in the forest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is why these are just the hints that I'm getting, and you're probably 100% right, Bundy. I think this is like the very beginning of everything, and we're gonna get like the state of decay that probably they wanted to give us, 6 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
state of
I
decay
think
one.
if it's taking place right at the beginning, though, they've got to add vehicles.
They will. I think. I'm
They've
gonna tell
got
you what
to.
this jump cut is. You want me to tell you what this trailer is, and people are like spazzing out about it. This
Yeah.
trailer is just the very beginning of the game, probably.
Mm.
This is how the game starts. You get to pick your character. Whatever it looks like. That's what it's gonna look like in that jump cut, right? Because they can do that in Mass Effect. They can do that in Breakpoint. They can do that in all these games now. You pick
Yeah.
your character, how it looks, and then you they put on whatever clothes they're gonna put on them at the beginning, and you start your little journey, and then you run into this thing, and you probably end up fighting that deer. That's probably one of the first things you fight in the game, right?
Yeah.
And the story kicks off. I think you're either out there as, because to me it looks like she lives nearby. There's no
Yeah.
way you're walking around in freaking BFE with the gear that she has. She doesn't
But
even
then you know
have.
as well as what I do. If that's in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 1 minute you're in a town, and the next minute you're in the wilderness. So
That's true.
do you know what I mean? You don't really know. You don't know.
From what I saw, the valley
There's
that
so
we're
much
looking at,
speculation.
yeah. What I'm looking at is she can't be in the wild. This is not something feasible. And with the pack that she has, it's impossible for her to be out there for more than a few days.
Hmm.
She's sorely dependent on killing something at this point. That's but wild. That's not gonna happen with the gear she has. That's not the story. She goes out. She's a hunter, right? Or he's a
yeah, she
hunter.
could have been
However,
on a hunting trip just like
yeah,
in the first game. Ed and
yeah.
one
When
Yeah.
they
of
met
us.
old girl, when they
Yeah.
met old
Yeah, they
girl.
were on a hunting trip. Yeah, and she was on a
Yeah.
hunting trip.
Yeah, she was on a hunting trip. They were just They were just hiking. She was
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
That's
hunting
right.
trip. So that could be the case. But this person's on a hunting trip. They're renting out a cabin, or they're somewhere there's a camp up up the mountain somewhere, and
Yeah.
they run into this thing, and then the story kicks off. It's the very beginning of the game, and then I just didn't see nothing telling me that she's part of a group because she doesn't have a radio, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Ooh,
she doesn't have a
nostalgia.
radio.
What if they do
Yeah,
that?
but I mean,
They put in like a ranger station or whatever.
yeah,
Probably, probably,
smoke signals.
probably. What I'm telling you is that she probably lives nearby. She
Yeah.
doesn't live
Yeah,
more than
possibly.
in a few miles away, and she's out there looking for big game. And this is something she's done before, and that's what I think, man. Nothing's telling me that she's just living off the wilderness by what
Yeah,
she's
she
wearing.
she looked proficient with the crossbow.
Not only that, her equipment looked pristine. There's no way.
Yeah, she looked
It.
very proficient.
I mean, from State of Decay 1 to State of Decay 2, there's a 3 year gap. There's
Yeah.
no way in hell somebody's been living out in the wild looking that good. Ain't no way. All right,
Well,
you'll have
that's
some
where we
pelts
go. Is
on.
it before or is it after? Because
I think it has to be before because of what she's
well, it
wearing.
could be before, but it could be after because you can make crossbows like that from other crossbows, even now. Yeah,
That's a pretty pristine looking crossbow, my dude. Like I bought that
yeah,
at a
but
big
they'll look
store.
just as pristine.
I don't know
So
about that. That
who
that
knows?
that crossbow that crossbow looked too new to me. Like it hasn't
Like she
been
just bought
50.
it.
Like she bought it last year. You know what I mean? And she used it a handful
Yeah,
of times. Not, yeah, that
yeah.
crossbow looked too good. Like all her equipment tells me that not too much time has overlapped. That's my only tall tale sign of what's going on in terms of
And the
time
label
frame.
on her jacket means something. I
It
just
does.
couldn't make it out.
It looked like a upside down mossy oak symbol is what it looked like to me.
Hmm.
So anyway, the last question that I want to ask you guys, so we can wrap this cool ass little discussion we're having, is: do you guys think this game is coming out this fall, next year, or 2 years from now? We'll start with Red on this one.
Me again?
But Bundy had the last
I'll go
question.
ahead. I'll go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah, you
Bundy,
go
go.
Because
first.
I answered this question in my comments. Is 2 year minimum.
Okay. What do
Minimum
you
two
think?
years.
Why do you think that? If you don't mind me asking.
Because depending on how long they've been working on it, uh, this game is going to be technically an upgrade, from State of Decay 2. So there's more work that goes into that. There's more work to getting more power out of that engine if they're using the same engine, which they probably are. Um, because other than that, they'd have to create their own engine, and it takes more time to do that. So that's what Rockstar usually does. They create their engine from scratch. That's why it takes them so long to make a game when they're actually making a game. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think minimum 2 years. Um, could be longer, depending
Okay.
I
on
think.
how ambitious they want to be with this
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I honestly think
Especially
that
if they're going for AAA.
yeah. But I think it's going to be the back end of 2021, right near Christmas.
You guys want to hear something crazy? This is my speculation. I'm gonna be bold and daring here. I believe this game will be out as early as November and
No, my
as
dude.
late as May of next year.
Really?
Yep, because I did a little bit of research and they've been hiring people for that company for the last 3 years. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of a
Yeah.
rumor that they were gonna make State of Decay 3 right as State of Decay 2 came out before Heartland.
That's
And
two
if you
years.
that's 2 years ago, over 2 years before Heartland though. So when State of Decay 2 first came out, there was a rumor that there was like so many expositions were opening up, and they wanted people that had experience in like Grand Theft Auto type games. You know what I mean? Open world games like that. They were looking for certain coders and certain things, and there were so many positions opening up. As soon as they got the money backing from Microsoft, I think they started working on this game. That's why, like, if you notice, they're trying to run two things at one time. They're beta testing a lot of their new stuff. Because why would you waste time on an old ass map like Drucker County? Why would you upgrade that map? Why would you
To
do that?
give, because
Yeah.
they're building on the fact that they're giving us content every month to keep us.
Yeah.
But then again, now they done messed up by releasing this thing because now people Instead of being satisfied with the little monthly updates, they're gonna be like, I want State of Decay 3.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
why would they? What I'm saying is, why would they
And then
show their
remember, they
card?
talk about this thing that's coming up in November.
I'm telling you what the thing in November is, bro.
Okay, my dude, I don't know.
I'm
I don't
putting
know.
I'm putting I'm putting my stake on it, bro.
Nah, don't do that, man.
I'm gonna put
Don't
my
do that.
stake on it.
Don't do that. Don't
I
do
think
that.
at the very earliest will be November. I think the latest will be May. And the only reason I say that is because I think they've been working on this game for over 2 years now. And if you give them your 2 year time window, you'll have it at the back end of 2021, or you'll have it as early as May. And the reason I say that is because that's when this like Microsoft stuff kicks off. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like July,
Yeah.
May. So that's
Yeah.
when I'm looking
Cause
at
man,
somewhere around. We'll hear more
Forza
about it.
is not even coming out at a release.
Hmm.
And
But we'll
everybody
hear.
thought, because Forza always releases with a new console, and they were saying that Forza, they didn't even put a date on Forza, and the understanding is that Forza is not going to be out at release, so they're taking their time to make sure that they got a good next gen Forza.
Well, that's good.
So
I mean,
I don't know, my
I
dude.
hope I'm
That's
wrong.
that's that's too soon. I don't
I
know.
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and the reason I say that is because I want this game to be better than two and better than one when it comes to bugs. 'Cause I remember playing the
Yeah,
initial
Yeah.
State of Decay and
Yeah,
also playing the
definitely.
initial State of Decay 2. It was kind of like it was borderline trash multiplayer. You know what I mean?
yeah.
State of Decay 2 multiplayer was borderline trash. I remember that because I bought it for that particular reason. I was excited, and then when I did the multiplayer, I was very disappointed. So I'm hoping to God that I'm wrong and that they um, take their time with this, and this comes out in 2022 because that gives them plenty of time to work everything out. But the only reason I say that is how long do you think it took them to make Providence Ranch? That map.
Oh,
How
God
how
knows.
long?
But see, this is the thing. Why? Yeah, I think why the Juggernaut edition? Why Provident Ridge? Um, a new map, new cars, fixing bugs, and everything else. If they're going to bring this out November.
Because they've been testing. This is how this works, Red. If you're gonna make a construct, right? If you're gonna make a box, right? You want to make a mold. All State of Decay 2 is right now is a mold for State of Decay 3. I've been saying this for months now since I started noticing a pattern with what they're doing. That's just me speculating. I have no inside information whatsoever. My speculation is why are they worrying about this old stuff if they don't have something in the pipeline and they're not using this particular game as a test bed for the next game? It's the smartest thing to do because you can work out all the bugs and use the same game physics and the same game numbers on the new engine, and then just it'll dice up the graphics, but you still have the same construct. You know what I'm saying? The same box.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
It's
but
just
I
a
think they
different
do
they're
color.
that
going
with
for
all
another
games, so
box.
Nah, I think it's gonna be the
They're
same
going for
box.
another box, Prime. No, because
They're gonna be
State of
the
Decay
same box
1, you got that was a different game. State of Decay 2, then you got a different game.
because
This
they
this
went to the
mm,
game is gonna look and play. Even the animations, I think, from what I saw, it looks like they're trying to have a more AAA type experience with better animations, facial animations, better movement, because that's going to be a totally different box than State of Decay 2, which it should be. You should see a jump from 1 to 2 to 3. You should
yeah.
see a jump.
the
And I
guts
think
of the
that's what they're going
game.
for.
The guts of the game is gonna be the same, Bundy. It's just gonna have a different. You know how I know this because I played the game for 20 years and it's the same exact game. It just has a prettier color around it. 20 years I played the same game, and it's
Yeah,
gone
but
from
that's what
part
I'm
one,
saying
part two to part
is,
three.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Most games, I even like we mentioned Tomb Raider earlier. They started that off on PC, and as you went across, the guts of the game was still the same, but the graphics, the storylines, and everything like that changed as it got better.
Well, it's
And
gonna
I mean,
look better because it's gonna be a different
yeah, it's
engine.
gonna look better.
It's gonna look better. It's gonna perform better, and they're gonna have probably different animations, but like the way the engine is calculating the physics, it's always gonna be the same. That's why like the ceilings of the cars are raised, so that like with this new map, they're not gonna worry about cars getting stuck on a silly little rock. What I'm saying is all the testing that they're doing now, everything that they're doing right now, they're using this engine and this particular game as a test bed for the new construct of State of Decay 3. That's gonna speed up the production time because now they're not jumping in blind to a brand new game where they need to figure out every single equation. Everything's already written out in a line now for them. They have a mold. That's what I've been saying. So I wouldn't be surprised in November they're like when the new next gen Xbox comes out, they don't have nothing. What do they have? What are they releasing?
That
What is
would be
Yeah.
true, Prime,
what are they releasing?
if they were wanting the next game to play exactly like State of Decay 2. If they don't see any issues with the way that game plays. Because, like, for instance, if they want to add the boarded windows back, they can't use that same framework, that same box of State of Decay 2. They got to go in and start recoding. Now, the engine is still the same.
Do you
The
Yeah.
think do you
Unreal Engine is the same. It's just like using a template. The template, I can use a template that Red uses, and she may be more better at getting that template to do things that I can't, and vice versa. So it all depends on the person that's doing the work on that
here's
engine, because so many games that they run on Unreal, what is it now? Unreal 3 is going to be the new engine, and then they could be jumping to Unreal 3. You know,
that that's
Yeah.
that's that's what I'm getting at, Bundy.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at, what is the limitations for State of Decay 2? Is it the PC or is it the Xbox? What's the singular limitation to spawn rates and to stuff happening in that game without that game crashing? Do you think it's the game and the game's engine or the
the
Xbox?
programming. It's the programming and the
It's
coding.
the Xbox's hardware that's holding that game back. Even the developers
No,
themselves have said that. That's what holds that game back.
well,
They're pushing the game's envelope in the Xbox settings because they have to play this game on the Xbox.
the
That's the
reason I
But if
hardware
what
that's
I'm
the
that
saying,
case,
like
sorry.
games like on the PS4, why they always like when they get into these console war things, why the games look so much better, the first party games on PS4, because depending on who that developer is, like Naughty Dog, I mean, people don't like that game, which will remain nameless, but you can't deny how great the game looks, how the animations are, and so forth. The same for
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
That's the first party developer as well. But then you take the developer for Days Gone, they had issues because they were trying to make uh, a good AAA type game for Sony. They just didn't have the expertise as a Naughty Dog or a Sucker Punch.
if you
You know
look
what I'm
at a
saying?
game, if you look at a game like that game that should not be named. Um,
Mhm.
if you look at that game you can have that level of detail in that game because the game is very corridor. It's almost like a corridor shooter,
True, that's true too.
like Mass Effect
Yeah.
2.
Definitely.
It's corridor. You going down this path. It's narrow. You can have the environment can look amazing, but you're stuck in this corridor. You're going in one direction the whole time. So they can afford to look this good. When you're
Let
talking
me
about
let
a
me
game
ask
like
you
State
something,
of Decay
Prime.
2,
Let me
or
ask you
even
something.
like Grand Theft Auto, you can't do that. There's
Okay,
too much to render.
in your profession, are the guys that you work with that do the same job that you do, are they on the same level as you?
That's kind of a flawed question, bro.
No, it's not,
Yeah,
because it
because
all depends on the artist,
nobody's ever
on the
gonna be
person.
at
Because
at
you can put two people working on the same project, but if their skill level is different, that's gonna affect the end result. That's all I'm saying. Because you could take, if Naughty Dog get their hands on the Xbox and make a game for Xbox, the game would probably run just as well on the Xbox because they're talented, and then they take their time. They don't rush things out either. They will delay a game if they
Mm.
have to. But
the
you know,
resources that
it's
takes to run State of Decay 2.
The
This was
talent was
said-
there.
this was said by the game devs themselves. The thing that's holding State of Decay 2 back is not the engine and it's not the game software. It is the Xbox
The
360's
Xbox. So then that brings into
ability.
question: is this going to come out on the new Xbox, the Series
only,
X,
only. They
and
said that
only? Because,
only.
but that's going to stilt them because a lot of people are not going to be able to afford
You're
to buy
right.
that Xbox because they're looking at
But
the
there's a
prices
lot of
at the
people that
moment.
play. There's a lot of people that play on
They don't even
PC.
know what price it's coming in at yet.
It's a triple A
They're
game.
looking at
I'm
about
assuming
500, but
seventy
They're
dollars
not
American.
they're not pushing any next gen type games for the first 2 years. Phil Spencer already said. So, and that's
mm,
one of the complaints that people are having. They're like, well, if I buy this brand new console, I want to be playing next gen games. I don't want to be playing Xbox X games. I want a upgraded next generation game. And he's like, well, it's up to the developers. If they want to do it, fine. But we're not forcing them to do it for 2 years so that that way our customers can gradually get into the ecosystem of the new Xbox Series X.
Well,
That was his reason.
I'm not gonna get to the politicking of what they're deciding to do. I know that for a
Yeah, there's
fact
something behind that as well.
yeah, I think there is.
The new Xbox is gonna be the test bed for this new State of Decay, and it's also gonna be on PC.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure
it,
it's not gonna be compatible with the hardware of the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. It's not gonna be compatible.
it
I
won't
can
be
tell you
on
that right now.
Steam, that's for sure.
It probably will be on Steam eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But I mean, the thing
Eventually.
is, they've
But it'll
only
be an
got
Xbox exclusive for at least a
SODG
year.
into Steam, so I
Hmm.
can't see 3 being on there. I think, yeah, you're right. It's going to be PC and it'll probably be the new Xbox. But I honestly think that by doing that, there's still in the amount of people that can actually play it.
Probably.
And if you think about, like, when we had the 360 and the Xbox One come out, we could play old games on the new one, but we got new generation games as well. Who knows?
Yep.
A lot of
I
it is speculation.
We'll see. I can't wait. I can't wait to. I got some questions for the devs and stuff like that, which I'm gonna see if I can get on the because I got access to their forums on Facebook and a couple other. I'm gonna ask a couple questions.
Yep.
Most of the time, they don't pay attention to me. Even if I use a different name. So, but let's just say I get lucky and I get something out of them, then I'll get something out of them. If not, we'll get something out of the stream. But I'm pretty sure that this is gonna come out a lot faster because I wasn't expecting this trailer till
No.
November. I was expecting something in November, and it was this trailer, this little snippet. That we got it 6 months early or 5 months earlier than what I expected tells me there's something that missed here, man.
Yeah.
Something doesn't smell right.
Well,
That's all.
we'll soon see. I don't know if they're gonna. They might mention something on Monday in
Yeah.
their live stream. Well, they've
Well,
got
they
to.
should. No, they're
They
going
can't
to.
not.
They're gonna say very little. They're not gonna say very much about it.
They can't not mention it. Not once
You
they've
know,
put
they're
out a
gonna
trailer.
mention it, but they can't say much about it because
No.
it's
Yeah, they're
that's just
contracted.
like okay, I'll just back up on this and then I guess we'll move on. Um okay, what are we in 2020 right now? The
Mhm.
game
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Mhm.
It was first revealed in 2017.
Mhm.
So it's 3 years. It was revealed at E3 in 2017. That's 3 years. So many
Mm.
times, and developers get called out for that sometimes. Well, you're revealing the game too soon. Now we gotta wait 3, 4 years before the game actually comes out. That's why at
Yeah.
one time before Bethesda started messing up, they will applaud Bethesda because they would release the game. They would talk about the game at E3 when they start doing conferences with the last 3 years, I believe, 3, 4 years. And the game's coming out in November. The game's coming out in the fall. So they were like, well, cool. Now we don't have to wait that long before we get the game. And you know, that's
But
why I think it's 2 3 years, man.
I hope you're right.
Especially if it's AAA.
I hope you're right, but I have my suspicion that it's not going to work out that way. I'm going to ask you a question. So remember last year when before Juggernaut Edition, this is last year in May when the Xbox thing came out, and what came out? Nobody had an idea that this was going to be out, but Heartland was thrown on the table.
Oh,
Nobody had an idea.
I knew something was
Mm.
coming. I wasn't surprised at all because I had my Xbox ready. I was ready
Yeah.
for the download. I knew something was coming because they had been hinting about the new map, the new map, the new map. So I knew the new map was going to be announced at E3. What I
Mhm.
didn't know is that it was going to be Heartland, but I knew a map was
Exactly.
coming. So I wasn't
Exactly.
surprised at all.
So now we know a game is coming, and and we're
We
gonna
got
see.
sliders coming in November,
Yeah,
my dude.
yeah. I'm telling you, we got something
we
coming,
got
bro.
we got sliders coming in November.
Hey, I think we're definitely we got sliders coming in November, but I think that we're gonna hear. I wouldn't be surprised, bro,
Because
if
you know
if
what?
we
If
get
the
slammed in
game
May.
was releasing in November, they would want to build up the hype. They would
They
say,
are. They already did,
no, it would like be super build up.
dude. They already did. People flew off the handle when they saw this today.
Okay, bro.
I'm just telling you, they already did it.
Okay. I
They
hear you.
already unlatched.
Guys,
Already unlatched it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm just going back through this trailer, and I'm just going to take you back a little bit to one of the questions. Yeah, that we were talking about the crossbow.
Mhm.
Look at her arrow. That's a handmade arrow. Yeah,
Mhm.
if that was a brand new crossbow, she'd have brand new arrows that she wouldn't have to make herself.
She could be an enthusiast, man. She could be just
ready to
doing
get
stuff
Not
out there.
that
receipts on you,
much.
Prime.
Huh?
She went back and got
Yeah,
receipts.
I'm gonna get receipts.
Well, I saw her craft that one bolt or that one thing with her knife that she did right there in the beginning of the
Yeah,
camp.
but
Yeah,
why would
but
she do that if she could literally just, go buy what she needed?
oh,
What
some
she
people are
can.
like that, right? Some people like to make their own bows out of their own wood. They like to, there are hunters out there that do some crazy stuff. They got weird traditions.
Mm,
They make their own bows and they nook them themselves, and they set the draw on them. I mean, they can make their own arrows too, their own fletchings. There's people
oh
like
yeah.
that. I mean, it could totally
Yeah,
happen.
but she don't look that much of an enthusiast to me.
I don't
She
know. You
looks as
don't.
if she's just surviving.
I hope that's exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm all. Look, guys, in this whole thing, this whole. I hope I'm 100% wrong.
Me
How's
too.
that?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and I hope that my suspicions for the last 3 months are just that. There's just old superstitions or something, and then I'm 100% wrong because at the end of the day, I want State of Decay 3 to be the best that it can be.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but with that said, guys, you guys want to add something? Like you got a question, Bundy? Red just threw some shade on me.
Oh no. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, she
Because
threw
I
some
don't want
some
to
deep
add too
shade.
much to it because one of the things that I really don't like to do is to over speculate. You
Yeah,
know, when you see a trailer, it's good to say what you think it is to an extent, but when you start over speculating, like, oh, this is what I
Yeah.
think it is, this is what I think it's going to be, I don't like to go that far. So I
I
think
got
we
you.
went far enough.
Oh
I
yeah,
said
I
enough.
think we pushed the envelope. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't like to speculate either, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're just throwing theories, we're throwing out ideas. People
Yeah,
can
that's
comment
right.
below and drop their ideas, and we can open up hopefully a good conversation, and maybe we're all right or maybe we're all wrong. We'll
yeah,
find out in November. When we get some sliders.
yeah. And you
But all
won't have
right,
to use
guys.
mods anymore.
No, exactly. Maybe I get to do my own red zone.
Yeah,
But all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. I think we've been talking enough. This is a pretty substantial podcast slash
Yeah.
conversation. I want to make sure that people understand that both of you guys have channels, Bunndee D Games and Red Kuga 45 UK, right? That's what yours is right now, Red.
Red Cougar UK, yeah.
Dutch is Red Kuga UK. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna have to start spelling out my name, Prime.
Go ahead, Bundy. I mean,
No, I'm saying
I'm
you
gonna
with
pin it on the
Bunndee.
comments. I always do
Okay.
that, but I'm gonna pin a comment with your
But some people
red,
take that
and
serious. That's all I'm saying.
I'm also gonna put a description on the comments
They gonna say
below.
they gonna start looking and searching YouTube
Bundy
for
D,
Bunndee D,
Bundy
and they're
D,
not gonna
man.
find it. They
What?
may find somebody named Bunndee D and sub to him instead of me.
But
Well,
Bundy
yeah.
D. But listen, Bundy. All right, it's Bunnddee games with a Z at the end of it, not an S. All right,
Yep.
Thank you.
and
That's right.
red Kuga UK, right?
Yep.
All right. So I need to spell Red Kuga out.
No.
RedKuga
Yeah.
space UK at the UK because she's from the Great Britain,
Yeah.
and Bundy D is from
You don't have to say it.
the great state of the United States. You don't want me to say where you're from? I got you.
No,
Everybody knows I'm
everybody
from the
thinks he's
South.
Chinese.
Yeah, yeah. He's probably from the great state of of the Great Wall. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If I'm also gonna leave a transcript of these questions. If you guys want to leave some comments, what you thought. If you want to quote me on what I said or disagree with me 100%, that is perfectly cool. This is an open discourse. Let's keep it professional. And if you got criticisms, great. If you don't, you don't. If you like the video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you want to share this video, it will be greatly appreciated. YouTube does not promote my content or their content. So word of mouth is the power we have. So you can follow us on Twitter, right, Bundy?
Yes. Yes.
Also Red as well, me,
Yep.
and push this video forward. And don't forget to, like I said, drop a comment. Let us know what you think. We may make a thing of this. We may not. It all depends how this video does. So, again, you guys
Yeah.
have a great day or night. Light, love, and peace. Congrexes checking out from the Prime Directive.